Good afternoon, Year 10. Unfortunately, I can't be with you today. That's why I'm recording this video so you can still have a proper maths lesson. As you can see, there are some changes to our class. Some of the students moved the set, and we are welcoming today new students as well, so be nice. Okay, so you should have your books and starters on your tables. Please do write learning objective and the date. Remember how we set our work with line along the page. Make sure you draw the line with pencil and a ruler, and pause the video and for about 8 minutes and complete the starter activity. The answers are on the board. Mark your own work using a green pen. Copy learning objective and date. Underline it with a ruler. Remember how we set our work with a line drawn with pencil and a ruler down the page. So pause the video and take about a minute to mark your own work with a green pen. Okay, before we move on, I would like to talk about the homework. Like I've said, you will have one homework set per week. Your homework will be set every Tuesday. It's already online. So what you have to do is to log on to Haggerty Maths this week and complete it by next Tuesday, 8 a.m. because that's where I'm going to be checking how many of you, how much work each of you done. So all work will be done online on Haggerty Maths. Most of you, I'm sure, used it before. You use your school email and date of birth to log in. If you've got any issues with it, just email me. Okay, I just wanted to talk to you about something because very interesting thing happened to me after our last lesson. Namely, at the end of the day, I spoke to one of the teachers in the staff room who commented on the state in which students leave their classrooms after the lessons. And what she did was actually she showed me the pictures. And what was interesting is that I had exactly the same pictures in my phone, because the pictures that she showed me were of this classroom after your last lessons. Have a look at this. This is absolutely unacceptable. The thing is that after the last lesson, I also asked you to tidy up the classroom before you leave, and this is not good enough, Year 10. Other students come here and they want to learn as well straight after you. So you need to make sure that before you leave the classroom, the tables and the floor is clean. Okay, to be honest, there was no break after you, and this is really not good enough. This is lack of manners to leave this classroom like this. So make sure that you tidy up. Nobody will leave until the classroom is spotless. Okay, so now we can move on to our main learning objective. Today we are going to be writing recurring decimals and ordering recurring decimals. So we finished already with solving equations, and now we are moving on to the next section, which is place value and ordering and writing recurring decimals. On the next lesson, we are going to use the calculation to perform another calculation and with a multiplication, and the lesson after that will be about using one calculation to perform another in terms of division. Okay, so let's start. So we will move on to writing recurring decimals. So first we will do the first learning objective, which is to know how to write recurring decimal. So what is recurring decimal? Recurring means that something repeats over and over again. So we write recurring decimals in a certain way, so it's quicker and easier. So the success criteria to know how to write a recurring decimal are to identify the first dot. So in I do question example, the first dot is above 5. Identify the second recurring dot if there is one. So I've identified the second. Write the digits in order so that they are shown as a recurring decimal. Okay, so my recurring decimal looks like this. 0.58709. It's recurring, so I write again everything from the first dot to the last one. So again, 58709, 58709, and so on and so forth. So what I will ask you to do now is to do the second example in your books. Pause the video and take about a minute to write it down. Okay, so you should have 0.5046, 50456, and so on and so forth. Let's have a look at the next example. So again, I identify the first dot, then the second, and then rewrite everything between the second and between the first and the second over and over again. So 509, 509, 509, and so on and so forth. Now you answer the next question in your books. Pause the video for a minute and write in your books. Okay, so what you should have is 0.506, 506, 506, dot, dot, dot. Let's do some more examples. So in here, we can see that the first dot and the second are at the digits next to each other. So that means that only those two numbers recur. So to write this recurring decimal, we write 49 and again 49, 49, 49, and so on and so forth. So now in your books, please do the next question. Pause the video for a minute and do it. Okay, so you should have now 0.565656. If you've done this, if you've got this decimal right, well done. Now let's have a look at the next one, which is slightly different. So again, make sure you identify the first dot and the second. Copy everything which is what is before it in the same way as it is. So 5.06, and this recurs from 4 to 9. So it's 49, and again from the first dot to the last. So 49, 49, 49, 49, and so on. So what I'll ask you to do now is to do the next question in your books. Pause the video. Okay, so what you should have is 16.056566, and so on. If that's what you got, well done. Tick with the green pen. And now let's do one more. So in here, have a look at our success criteria. So identify the first dot, so we've identified it. Identify the second recurring dot, where if there is one. So there isn't one, which means that only one digit is being repeated over and over again. So to write out this recurring decimal, excuse me, I just do 5.99999, and so on. Can you do the next one in your books now for me? Pause the video for a minute and do the next one. Okay, so what you should have is 16.666666. If that's what you got, well done. Now we've got individual practice. So answer these questions in your book, pause the video for about 8 minutes and answer as many as you can. So it should be, you should already have your answers. So take about 1 minute, pause the video for 1 minute to mark your own work. I like when they are dots at the end because it shows that it continues. But I guess they are not necessary. We know how to write recurring decimals now, so we will use this to complete our second learning objective, which is to be able to order recurring decimals. So first I will do one example, then you will do another one in your books. So we have to order the following integers and decimals in ascending order. Ascending order means up. Going up from the smallest to the largest. Ascending, up from the smallest to the largest. Descending, down from the largest to the smallest. In this case, we have to order them in ascending order, so we need to identify the smallest and write it down from the smallest to the largest. Okay, so let's have a look at our success criteria. How do we do that? I'll read them out for you if you can't read it yourself, if it's too small. Write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. Write the decimals in a list where the decimal points are in line. Identify the smallest first decimal place, that's the smallest value. Keep going. The last mixed number or decimal left will be the largest value. Okay, so first thing to do is to write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. Let's have a look. So 7 has 0 decimal places. And next number has 3, 2, and 2. So this number has the largest number of decimal places, which is 3 decimal places, so we have to make each of them have 3 decimal places. So how do we do that? Let's take the first one, 7. 7 needs to have 3 decimal places. We know that every integer, we should know, has invisible decimal point and invisible infinite row of zeros afterwards. So I can write 7 as 7.000. It's the same value, the same as 7 pounds is the same thing as 7 pounds and 0 pence. Okay, so the next number is 8.654. Next one is 8.65, and this one has 5 recurring, so on the thousandths position we have another 5. And the last one is 8.65, and because this is not recurring decimal, we have in here 0 thousandths. So we've done the first one. Write each decimal, first success criteria, write each decimal to have the same number of decimal places. We've done the second one as well. So we wrote the decimals in a list where the decimal points are in line. Yeah, we can see they are in line. So now we have to identify the smallest. Okay, so going from the left, we look at each digit. So this is 7 units, 8 units, 8 units, 8 units. So this one is the smallest. So I write it down as a first number in the list in its original form. Okay, so now we need to find the smallest out of these 3. So each of them have the same number of units, the same number of tenths parts, the same number of hundredths. So now we can compare it with respect to thousandths part. So 0, 4, and 5. 0 is the smallest. So the next number is 8.65. We can cross it off. Next one, again, so next one will be 8.654 recurring, and the largest must be 8.65. 5 recurring. Okay, so now pause the video and try to do next one yourself. So what you should have is them written down like this. And putting them back in order would be, so the smallest in ascending order, the smallest one is 4, then 4.21, then 4.21 recurring, and the last one is 4.212 recurring. So that's the largest one. Okay, let's have a look at some more examples. Again, I'll do one, you'll do one, and we will move on. Okay, so first of all, I write them with the same number of decimal places. So in here, we've got 2 decimal places in each number. So I will write and now I'll compare them. So again, we are writing in ascending order, so I need to find the smallest. So 7 is the smallest. Then we've got 8s. Okay, so we are looking at the last digit, so hundredth position. So we have 2 very similar numbers, 8.65 and 8.65 recurring. So to make it easier to compare it, we might go even more, one decimal place more. So 8.65 has a 0 after that, and 8.65 recurring, the next number will be 5. So which one of them is smaller? Of course, 8.65 is smaller. So it looks like the first 2 were already in order. So then next one is 8.65 recurring, 8.66, well, 6 recurring. We need to write them in their original form. So now pause the video for a minute and do the next question yourself. So what you should have is 4, again, we've got 4 is the smallest, then it's going to be one of those, so we might go up, write another decimal place for both of them to make it easier to compare, so we can see that this is 0, this is 1, so this one is larger, this one is smaller, that's why this one is next. So it's 4.21. Next one is 4.21 recurring, and the last one is 4.2 recurring. If that's what you've got, well done.